Alright, it's Monday, motherfuckers. Time for a podcast episode. Whoop whoop! For all of our 11 subscribers.
Hey, it's up to 12 on YouTube.
Up to 12 now. Okay. I found that out because I, for the first time in my life, looked at our YouTube channel.
Nice.
I know, and I'm proud of myself. The format's really nice. This is all to Tim. Tim's the brain behind this operation.
And you know?
I'm just the gallbladder, I guess.
I'd say that 2 subscribers a month makes me a pretty good brain. You can tell I'm doing my job.
I don't know how many times I just go to a bar and shamelessly plug our podcast.
That's good. I'd like to revisit some of the SEO stuff I've read in the past, because there are books about they don't outright say it. You don't call your book a get-rich-quick scheme anymore. But a lot of these books about starting your business from home or making passive income, that's it. Most of it just seemed to rely on gaming certain, one book about passive income basically had chapters about gaming YouTube algorithms and not so much making content, but making if you want to make money, don't do what you want to do. Make a video that's definitely gonna get clicks for a long time, and that's usually just stupid stuff that people don't know how to do, but you can steal from an article and put on YouTube. Because people use YouTube as a search engine now, not Google, YouTube.
Wow. Remember when YouTube was, first a thing, back in, 05?
Oh, yeah.
To see how much it's evolved since then, I remember watching a video, oh god, this is probably closer to 10 years now. There was this couple who had a YouTube channel, but had to end it due to a fatality. And they wanted to see if a book could stop a bullet. And
well, the Bible, yes, but
yeah, it didn't. And I'm like, why didn't you just do a test run before that? Maybe she wanted to move on, just didn't know how to tell him.
Isn't that basically the plot of X-Men First Class? Magneto's all making Xavier hold up a gun, and he's it's do it, Charles, I know I can stop it! They should have a YouTube channel.
I haven't watched X-Men First Class.
I watched it once, and I think I only know that scene because it was, I don't know, somewhere. I don't know where the heck I saw part of X-Men First Class recently. Maybe in Japan. We watched a lot of American movie channels.
That's fun. Yeah, I was watching a scene from, just YouTube recommendations. I was watching Hugh Jackman's cameo in X-Men First Class, and that's the only scene of the movie I've ever watched.
I don't even remember.
I think he just tells them to fuck off.
That sounds familiar.
Quite literally, I think he drops the F-bomb. The fuck bomb, not the other F-bomb. That would be fucking crazy. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Patreon. We don't really do anything. I guess you could. I'll send you a pair of my underwear if you subscribe to our Patreon.
Now that's a deal. I mean, wow. People, if that doesn't get you, Anyway, but hey, I'm always saying we've got to make more bite-sized, shareable content. All right, podcast over.
All right.
I think we need something like a real intro. I don't know. Maybe just some script I can read where I actually give people our voicemail number. Let's see if I can even find it.
I forgot that we have that.
See if I can even find it within 60 seconds.
I'm going to add that to my contacts.
You know what? That's it. I probably do have it in my contacts.
I should save it in my contacts. Because I've been saying that I've been meaning to do something with it all the time, and I just don't.
And that's okay. Here it is. If you want to leave us a voicemail, and I guarantee we'll play it. We are in desperate need of content. Okay, he took my phone, so I can't read it. You read it.
209 425 2940.
209, that's repping Stockton.
Or at least the county.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Joe's from Lodi. And he also has a 209 number.
All right, repping Lodi and Stockton.
And then probably some other town. We don't know. We don't.
The fucking third town.
I know. We don't leave the Bay Area all too often. Oh, so to my fans, I just want to say I am officially on staycation. Started today. Was going to go use my vacation hours to go somewhere like meaningful, like visit my friend in Portland. Emma, if you're hearing this, sorry dude, see you next year. Or go back to Chicago. So Nick, Jill, Brendan, Alex, Joe, well, no, I don't think Joe lives there anymore. Anyway, you get the point. See you guys all next year. If I'm still working at our job, I'll have 2 weeks of vacation time.
Right.
But none of you guys really want to hear about that. See, what you guys really want to hear about is what I've been doing on my week off.
Yeah, man. Getting crazy the last 2 days.
Pal, you don't even know. I stayed in. I worked out, and then what I do? I ordered delivery. What? I want to get that air horn. Yeah. And then I rewatched Nightmare on Elm Street.
I think it always comes back to Nightmare for us. I feel like every of our 8 episodes, I think we probably mentioned Nightmare once in every episode.
Really?
Maybe. At least half.
Well, I'm sorry for being a horror fanatic.
That's okay.
I rewatched, yeah, and I forget that there's like no one-liners in it. And this is like the only Nightmare on Elm Street movie where Robert Englund doesn't really have a low speaking voice. So he just kind of sounds like a guy. And Johnny Depp wears a crop top. And that is all I can remember from that movie.
I want to bring up the fact that miraculously, this was while I was still seeing you at work, we watched Carrie on the same night, completely independently of each other.
Oh, yeah. Almost want to say we telepathically told each other to watch it. Bow, 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 bow.
I think it has more to do with Netflix knowing that we just are suckers for that. We're in the algorithm, James.
We are. We're not people. We're money mouths. We're just, we just buy and we eat. And
we subscribe. It's a subscription economy now.
I forgot.
On Carrie, the Rage, Carrie 2, which you often recommend to me. I think it's free on YouTube with ads in the current present of 2019.
See, I don't recommend Carrie 2 as in like a as this. So Carrie, the original, was one of the few horror movies that I could think of that was nominated for an Oscar.
Oh.
Carrie 2 was not.
Damn, it was robbed.
I recommend Carrie 2 in the, hey, let's go get drunk and watch Carrie 2. There's also the remake of Carrie. Now, Rage, Carrie 2 came out in 98. The remake of Carrie came out in 2002, if I am not mistaken. The remake of Carrie, it's like a TV movie, like the original It.
Oh, yeah. Good old blanking on the name, It. Nigel Thornberry. Tim Curry.
Schmosher. I did love me some Tim Curry as Pennywise, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually remember renting that from the library like a long time ago. And it was funny. It was probably like an 8th grader when I'd watched it, so it would have been scary for me if I'd watched it at a younger age. But since I was already like 13 years old, I was like, man, this movie's not that scary.
You're older than the kids and younger than the adults. You're in an awkward place.
Yeah. I just like seeing a movie where Seth Green is the tallest kid of the cast.
Oh, that's right. He was the funny one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was also the tallest one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I remember renting it from a library that I didn't really rent things from. Like, if I had to do a book report, I used to just, borrow books. It's just because, I'd always leave my library card, and back then it was like a quarter or 50 cents to replace them. I didn't have 50 cents. I wasn't made out of money, Tim. So I just wound up borrowing them.
Well, it's okay to borrow from the library.
Yeah, they're still in my house somewhere. 10 plus years later. Maybe I'll return. That would be really funny. Just come up with these like old books. I'm like, hey guys. So most of these were for book reports. Some of these were movies that I just wanted to watch. Oh, and I got this Disturbed CD. Lame.
Oh, it took you that long to get your review out.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll just review all the things from the library that I stole.
Yeah.
That would be funny. Yeah, the good old Excelsior Library. Down on Mission, and you guessed it, Excelsior.
I've been thinking about Alan Moore. I mentioned him last time. I just think of the stuff I've read, like Miracle Man, which is a story about... Huh?
No, I've heard of Miracle Man.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I could give you every... I mean, actually, I couldn't. It's a blur to me, except for the main point that it ends with Miracle Man assuming control of the planet Earth as a benevolent, godlike superhero dictator who like abolishes Earth's governments, and it's a sort of utopia. It's Alan Moore's vision of a utopia as ruled by a benevolent dictator. And then you've got Swamp Thing, because this was a serial. This is just plain DC. And he gets his run on Swamp Thing in the middle of Infinite Crisis. While all this is going down, and this is like across multiple series, I guess, my only exposure to this is Swamp Thing. He has these, like a random ragtag group, I think it's Swamp Thing, Blue Beetle, someone else, witness these two like monumental galactic-sized hands representing the abstract entities of good and evil that rule the DC universe. These characters witness them shake hands. And I guess that's what really happened in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
All I know about Swamp Thing is that he gets his powers from the thing called the Green, and it's like the green represents all plant life, and then there's the red, which is like mammals, and the gray, which is like dead people, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I've read a couple Swamp Thing comics. I did really like it because he reminded me of he just reminded me of like a pre-slasher film horror monster, like Dracula, or like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah, I can see a visual connection with that.
Or just a Scooby-Doo it.
Yeah. I think it all depends on Alan Moore. He goes off running with whatever he's given, and usually makes it suit his whatever weird thing he wants to write about. And I think with Swamp Thing, it's, I don't know, I think he's the one who introduces the green, and he's got the logic of him being able to die but still exist in this subconscious of the earth and grow anywhere. Yeah. And the best, I think, twist to that is when, of all people, Lex Luthor, they bring him in, basically the minor, pointless human villain of Swamp Thing is so desperate to finally kill this, the man who is Swamp Thing, that he brings in Lex Luthor. He pays so much money for Lex Luthor to solve this problem, which he does in 5 minutes, with a thing that will disrupt his connection to the green, and so he thinks he's finally beat him, but it just takes him extra time for his consciousness to find another, plant entity to grow on a planet, light years away. So it's final panel, cut to a blue plant is growing with a face on another planet.
Oh. I liked, I've only read one, but I heard that there's a few of them. The crossovers between Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy.
I don't know.
The Batman villain. She tries very desperately to be part of, the Green. Although, I don't think the Green wants people to kill other people.
No.
So I guess she doesn't really get it. They're fun crossovers. But I didn't really grow up on a whole lot of DC as a kid. I was a Marvel fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
I am starting to get into that parody comic, Lobo.
About the space guy that Brad Garrett did the voice of on the cartoon.
Yeah, it was basically that he was created because they were just poking fun at Marvel for making all these badass anti-hero archetypes the Punisher, Wolverine, Deadpool, yada da da da.
Like early 90s Layfield stuff.
Yeah. So it's basically I was reading up on why they probably will never introduce Lobo to DC cinema. Mostly because he's not really a good person, villain or anti-hero. He's very misogynistic. I remember there was one comic I read where you're familiar with the Teen Titans, right?
Yeah.
He helps them out, and as a trophy, he rips Starfire's top off.
I see.
And yeah, and I just remember that super vividly as a kid. So there's probably not going to be any movie with Lobo in it. However, he is in this new sci-fi DC TV show about Superman dying? I don't know, I haven't watched it. I think Superman dies and some other people from Krypton are trying to save the spaceship, and
This is Sci-Fi, the TV network?
yeah.
Interesting.
I was like, I didn't even think DC would want anything to do with sci-fi. Where are they getting the money to get anything DC related on the air? Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch an episode. It's not going to be good. I already know that from the trailer. But yeah, Lobo's in it. And then, what's his name is also in it. Like, there's a bunch of, like, Superman films or pop up in it.
Starro. Apocalypse.
No. What is his name?
Parasite.
Well, Brainiac shows up, but,
Mr. Ms. Pixel Twix.
that one you just made up.
No, he's an imp. He's from the Silver Age. He's a reality warping, like, comic imp from another dimension. And they reimagine him as, like, in Bronze Age stuff, he's more like a visitor from another dimension who just, destroys our reality for giggles.
Ooh. Maybe I gotta read more Superman comics. Did you say Doomsday?
I didn't say Doomsday.
Doomsday!
Ah!
Yeah. So I, watch the show to see Doomsday destroy things.
Yeah.
That's actually
on a budget.
On a sci-fi budget. So I'm excited to see how awful it looks. But you know what? I've seen awful sci-fi shows that I really like the story too. There's this one British TV show about a ghost living with a vampire and a werewolf.
I am aware.
Being Human.
Yeah.
That was a fun show. Not really that good, but maybe it's just because the mid to late 2000s were on this like huge vampire hype, and yeah, I guess so was I.
I got a gaming thing. So Banjo-Kazooie is finally in the new Smash, which I probably would have been excited for, in like 2001. I mean, I like them and I would love to see them re-released. And people have pointed out, the fact that they're putting them in Smash, but there is no mention of the games being just plain ported or remastered like the Spyro trilogy.
Banjo-Kazooie?
It's a platformer. Banjo is a bear. He's got a bird in his backpack. It's a lot like Spyro, I think. It's a collectathon from the N64.
Okay.
You just go from world to world. You collect enough of one thing in one world, and you can open up the next. And they were just my jam, that's all. I think...
no, I get it. Spyro's my jam.
Yeah. But you get a remake.
I did get a remake. I got a remake of 3 games.
Damn.
I also got 3 Crash Bandicoot remakes.
There's no love for second or third party N64 titles.
Nope.
Pretty much just a Nintendo.
I'm also going to get 2 Medieval HD remakes.
That's right.
And that's not even an A+ game. That was like, I would say that was probably a B- one. I loved Medieval, but I only knew a handful of people, not including my brother and dad, that knew what the hell I was talking about when I spoke about Medieval. Also, I remember this 3D Pac-Man game. I don't know if it was multi-platform, so it could have been for the N64. But I remember it very well for the PlayStation 1. And when I say 3D, I'm talking Pac-Man walking on legs.
That sounds... I remember when they introduced the version of Pac-Man that you can play in Smash Bros. Now. He's like got 1920s cartoon eyes, gloves, and boots, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Sounds very familiar. Okay, so I guess it was multi-platform because that, to me, felt PlayStation as fuck. Even as like a 7-year-old, I was like, I didn't imagine this being for other consoles. Yeah, and then there's also this one game. I'm not even gonna get into it because I don't know the name, and I've tried to do my research and I've talked to my brother, He knows what I'm talking about, but he too can't remember the name of the game.
I feel like you tried this on me too. Is this the game you were trying to find about like a brother and a sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of them could turn to animals and shit, and one of them could like fly and like. It was an E-rated game, and someone was like, "It was probably a Final Fantasy game." I was like, "It wasn't a Final Fantasy game."
We'll outsource this to the listeners.
Yeah.
Remember, that's 209.
We already said it once. I could just rewind it.
Yeah, good point.
Um,
Not 40 winks?
I don't know.
I think I showed you the...
You wouldn't know because you didn't own a PlayStation 1.
You're right. Not Gex 3, Undercover Gecko?
A boy and a girl that were human-ish. They were humans, except one of them could turn to animals and shit.
Not 40 winks.
No, this game looks awful though. No, it reminds me of Lemmy Winks though. And his brother WikiLeaks. Oh, it took my brother and I so long to remember what Siphon Filter was, like the name of it. Because we loved those games. Those were our Metal Gear Solid.
Aw, well, but PlayStation had Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, but PlayStation also had Siphon Filter.
Okay.
And we just got to that one first.
Okay.
And we never looked back. It's funny because I think there are only 3 Siphon Filter games. And I don't know how many Metal Gear Solid games there are, but I'm assuming there are more than 3.
Oh, yes.
Were you Metal Gear,
Not until, after the fact, because I played kind of like in chronological order. I started with 3, which is like the first in the timeline, and played 1. I think I own all of them, but I've only played those 2.
Oh.
I like them, though.
I also love the game Spec Ops as a kid. It was a third-person army game.
I know that's still going. I mean, Spec Ops The Line got good reviews.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there were still Spec Ops games.
At least that one.
That game is almost as old as I am. No, that's not true. It's younger than me, because I remember when Spec Ops 1 came out for the PlayStation 1. Yeah, they're fun games. I don't know how fun they would be now. Yeah, I replayed Grand Theft Auto 2 not too long ago.
The old top-down Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah.
All I could say is woof. There's a game that's top-down that did it better than Grand Theft Auto. It feels very similar, called Hotline Miami.
Oh, I mean an indie game. Like
Yeah.
a newer game. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Created just by some French people.
Hmm.
And they were just like, we want to create a game that represents Miami in the 80s. It went from French to Russian so quickly.
Pretty good, though, if I dare say so myself.
Why, thank you. And that's a really hard game. And, to me, those games feel more like what an older Grand Theft Auto game should have felt like. Although, I gotta say, I didn't start off with playing Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2. Although I'm pretty sure I did have them for the PlayStation 1. But those were more of my brother and dad's games. I got my start playing Grand Theft Auto 3. It's the first 3D Grand Theft Auto game.
Right.
Where you play as, I forgot the character's name, but he's mute, basically. And it's because the devs didn't, well, they spent a lot of time making the set, and they just didn't know, I don't know. I guess they just didn't think that, didn't think the time to what he would say, or if they didn't have enough money for, like, all the voice acting. So they just canned his voice acting, which is really funny because the main character of the game. But he makes a cameo in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and he's still mute.
That's fine. What is it, like 2000, 1999? You can, if it's your first game like that,
Yeah.
do what you know.
Oh yeah, no. Back in 2000, 2001. No, it was 2001. Grand Theft Auto 3 came out for PlayStation 2. Back in 01, I was just happy to like be able to play a game where I could drive, but then I could also get out of the car, because I got really bored of driving games so quick. I liked my favorite racing game as a kid was a game called Road Rash.
I know. Is that for the Genesis?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it for the Genesis and the PlayStation 1.
Oh, I didn't know they had was it like a 2D to 3D? Or is it just 2D still?
It was 2D for both, but then PlayStation 1 came out with another one, like the following year. It was Road Rash 3D. Did not get the same licensing for all the music, so they had to replace it with like generic PlayStation 1 music. But it was so crazy. The first game, like, it exposed me to like Soundgarden, to Tad, to the Smashing Pumpkins, to Swerve Driver. Russell, if you're listening to this, not to be confused with Screwdriver, the Nazi punk band. Swerve Driver, the 90s alt-rock band. Yeah, it introduced me to a lot of good rock music of the 90s. Road Rash is a fucking fun game, though, because you got to, like, because it's very cartoony. You were able to buy new motorcycles. You were able to like meet new friends at like a bar, although it was not like, it wasn't 3D. It was like
imagine like an adventure game, like a click to walk. Your guy just walks. You talk to.
Yeah, it was click based until you were driving. Even then, it wasn't that like it wasn't. There were still clicks to be made. But yeah, you're able to like get into shit with people, challenge them to like races. It made it feel like you were a biker in doing like biker things, minus the crystal methamphetamines.
And made it more enjoyable as a driving game.
Yeah. Road Rash 3D didn't really have that much of that, but it did feel more like a racing game.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to I remember Road Rash 3D, you were able to like knock people off their bikes.
Isn't this the one with the giant clown head logo?
No, pal. That's Twisted Metal.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I deserved that.
Twisted Metal's not really a racing game. More of like Mortal Kombat with cars.
That's the tagline you find in the magazine. Twisted Metal, more like Mortal Kombat with cars.
Yeah, Twisted Metal. I don't think there's been a Twisted Metal game that came out in like almost a good 10 years, like 2010, maybe 2011. Something for the PS3. Until then, I would love to play a new I almost called it Mortal Racing.
Yeah.
Racing Combat, spelled with a K. I would love to play a Twisted Metal game, a new Twisted Metal game that came out. I don't know. The Sony exclusive games now, there's just a whole lot of fucking story-based games, and I want my cartoony, like zany PlayStation exclusive games back.
Your Crocs, your Toombas.
Yeah. And I don't have it. My Rayman, although Rayman was multi-platform.
Yeah.
To an extent. I think there could have been like a handful of PlayStation exclusive ones. I heard Rayman's getting an HD remake too, but I don't know if that's true.
I think that's I mean, if it's a totally remastered game, otherwise, I mean, I think it's on PC, so you can play it at HD if you want.
I was about to say, I think they're pretty much just going to do like 2 and 3.
The 3, because those are 3D.
Yeah. 2 and 3 are 3D. 1 is not. And unless if they totally remaster it, then they've remastered Crash, and the first one wasn't really 3D.
Yeah.
First one was like a side scroller, like Mario.
Huh.
I didn't even remember that. It's been a long time. I also don't remember how fucking hard those Crash Bandicoot games are.
No, I hear that all the time. Like, I think it's just supposed to be pixel perfect in some places. I don't know.
Yeah, the HD remasters aren't much better. I've beaten the remaster of the third one. That's because that's the one I've beaten the most times as a kid. But I'm still stuck on the first 2. I beat all the Spyro games. Those games are not as difficult. They do get challenging. But Crash, I'm like, what did you expect out of kids playing this game?
Expect to have them play for more than 40 hours anyway.
Yeah, fucking Naughty Dog. Oh, speaking of Naughty Dog, I think they're gonna make that zombie game a sequel.
Last of Us 2?
Yeah.
I mean, they've been advertising like they have one gameplay thing, but we wouldn't have seen anything at E3 because Sony pulled out.
Oh yeah, motherfucker. That means we're gonna get a PS5.
Oh yeah. I mean, what is it? When Microsoft went to E3, they're just saying that, yeah, it's coming, Project Scarlet. I don't know what they're going to name it. No, I'm not even going to go there. Of course, where are they going to go after Xbox One? That's just...
Xbox 69 420. But that's the whole name of it.
Xbox 61 420?
I said 69 420.
Jesus Christ, I'm done.
61. You're not even drunk, Tim.
No, I'm just dumb, James. Here's a connection. Microsoft owns Rare. I'm pretty sure they still own Rare. They were the developers for Banjo-Kazooie. Microsoft now owns Double Fine Games, my beloved Double Fine Games, local Double Fine Games.
What's Double Fine?
They made Psychonauts and Brutal Legend.
Oh, okay. Well, I know Brutal Legend.
Yeah, their boss Tim Schafer looks like Bobby Moynihan.
Really?
And people hate him because, I don't know, there's a whole mythology after the debacle of their big crowdsourced game. I don't think they handled it well. I don't think that's controversial to say. And so a lot of people just hate Tim Schafer and portray him as like a money-hungry, conniving liar who I think just, he's a game designer first and a manager second. But I just think it's so weird that I think they're in a place where Microsoft could ask them to port Banjo-Kazooie. I know that's never going to happen, but I'm just saying it could. I think Banjo-Kazooie's cursed though, because Rare went under, and they could gut Microsoft could gut Double Fine the same way they gutted Rare.
Speaking of games that went under, didn't whatchamacallit go bankrupt this last year?
THQ?
No. No, THQ went under a couple years ago. Rest in peace. So yeah, speaking of PlayStation 2 games, no, oh, Telltale.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man, I was really looking forward to that Wolf Among Us 2. Literally the only game that I would have played.
Plenty of articles I remember about everything after the Walking Dead game was a Walking Dead game. Like every game sort of stuck to that formula. And I think Wolf Among Us was like, one of the only ones that was also a good game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot
It's just because Wolf Among Us wasn't like an original idea that they had. It was based off of a comic book.
Fables.
Fabletown.
Yeah, Fabletown.
Yeah, good old Fabletown. It's a good comic for those of you who want to read comics that aren't DC or Marvel. I don't know what publisher Fabletown is under.
If it's Vertigo, then it might just be DC.
I was about to say, if it's Dark Horse or Image, it's also DC. DC owns quite a bit that is not DC.
But no, I think when it went under, there were plenty of articles about, like, not just overworking employees, but their schedule would look like, titles to ship would be like a list of tour stops for what a band would put out. People they would have T-shirts. People who worked at Telltale with all the titles they ship, and it was like a band's touring T-shirt, and it just is too much content to ask people to make.
Yeah. Is it too much to just ask for a fucking Wolf Among Us Season 2?
We'll have to make it ourselves.
Oh, do you think we'd get sued?
Maybe we if we sell so much we can afford a really good lawyer.
Or we could just make the Wolf Among Us porn parody.
Yeah.
And go down that route.
The wolf between us, the wolf...
inside us.
Yeah, well, that's better.
The between us. I just imagine the sheriff getting double teamed by that's the Wolf Among Us gay porn parody.
I'd love to have like a fake indie studio, much like Sunset Overdrive.
You mean Sunset Retro?
Sunset Retro.
Sunset Overdrive is a video game.
Oh right, that's real.
That was the non-Sony Insomniac game.
All right.
That we don't talk about.
Oh right.
It felt like you were playing a PlayStation 2 game.
On the Xbox.
But just on the Xbox 360. No! I think it was Xbox One.
Yeah.
Early Xbox One, though. Like 2014, I would say.
Back when there were very few reasons to get one.
Yep. Still very few reasons. But, I can't think of many Xbox exclusive games just off the top of my head.
I feel like they had Cuphead for a while, and now it's on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. Still not on the PlayStation, though. Good job for keeping out of Sony's hands.
I think about having, I say fake indie studio, but I just think I want a business, but I don't want to have to make anything right away. I'd like to make something at some point. But how long can a business
do you want
exist?
Part of Sunset Retro?
Yes.
Well, I've been meaning to get the other two members.
Yeah.
But they just are so busy. One just got married. And the other one
has a job?
Yeah. I was about to say the other one has two jobs.
Oh. Are we saying Derek got married?
Yeah.
It's news to me.
Yeah. I see. I didn't drop the name. Although, he put it on Instagram, so everyone knows he's married now. But if you're listening to this, Derek,
cat's out of the bag.
Welcome to hell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I still want to celebrate your marriage sometime. Call me. Don't pretend like I don't exist. Return my calls. Please.
We talked improv.
Oh yeah, you wanted to do like. Did you want to do like improv games, or did you want to do like an improv class?
I meant like a scene. Like, I think an interesting format for this podcast would be,
Improv?
just chat, and then it's
Yeah.
like what a herald is.
Yeah, the
where-
first 10 episodes, people have been all warm-ups.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think this podcast is called Warmups because we are not ready for a real podcast yet, and we'll change the name when we are.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was watching early episodes of some of my favorite podcasts, and they weren't that good.
Great.
So it gives me hope.
Yeah.
Uh,
But you know how a herald is there's a monologue, and then maybe this isn't what a herald is, but it's a UCB thing where there's a monologue, and then someone just takes as much as they can from the monologue to jump right into a scene. And hey, I'm not saying I'd be any good at it, at first, but could be a format we'd try.
So 2-man improv?
Yeah, I don't know. Does that limit our options? We can only do improv
Kind of
scenes.
easy to do it with 3 people, 3 or more, but we could do it with 2 people. It just might get repetitive and feel not. I don't know. I've seen 1-man improv shows, which are impressive. I saw Hugh Jackman do a 1-man improv show.
Is that more like dramatic?
There was comedy. There was all of it. It was like a musical number, comedy, drama. I was expecting him just jerking it. Just going out on stage dressed like Wolverine from head to toe.
Like classic comic book Wolverine. Yellow.
Yeah. Yellow
giant
and blue
ears.
suit. And he just comes in and comes out, I guess. Comes out on the whole crowd.
And says, "Snicked."
He says, "Listen here, bud."
And when he comes, he yells, "Alpha Squad!"
Scene. Curtains drop. Yeah. I guess that is what me and my mom were imagining, but we got something else.
We got to think of some format. I mean, hey, we can just keep doing chat. We need to come in with something written down.
I would love to have at least a structure, like a. Doesn't have to be like a script, because I'm unscripted. But I would like to have some sort of format to go by. I don't know, because I gotta do more for this show. I feel like I haven't been doing jack shit except for showing up. I feel very.
Hey, that's half the battle.
I feel very replaceable, Tim.
I think I'm the replaceable one.
Oh, stop.
We gotta. I mean, I think about incorporating video at some point. I think like when we
Topless
were watching
podcasts?
Yeah, of course. We were watching Your Mom's House. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Tom Segura's.
Yeah, I think.
I got to show you Tom Segura's What an episode when Joey Diaz was on.
That's oh, you go blind.
Oh, he goes,
You black out when I come in your mouth.
No, he said, oh yeah, you black out as soon as my tongue gets stuck in your ass.
That's it. That's the good stuff.
Oh man, what a time, what an experience to get a rim job from Joey Coco Diaz.
Hey, you just got rimmed by a comedy legend. You better remember this. That's what I say.
I love. He's like, man. He's like, I'd love to be able to sling dick for hours. Having your chick look like she just got shot up in Vegas. Oh, I understand your pain, Joey Diaz. I understand your pain. Now it's different when you're on blow, though. So I've been told. But yeah, that was a different. Half the battle's getting it up when you're on blow, though. What the main secret is just start banging before you do the blow. It's easier it's more erotic when you're like doing blow off body parts. For me, I mean,
so there's a bit of synergy.
Yeah, it's because like you'd be lying if you didn't say you didn't want to try doing blow off of like a butt or a boob or a dick or an asshole, because it's like. It makes you feel like a guy from Wolf of Wall Street. And I just can't get into people on Wall Street at all. I'm not a fan of Wall Street. I don't think it's that big of a secret if you listen to this podcast or talk to me in real life.
Well, that we're dirty commies.
No. I'm the dirty commie. You're the snowflake libtard SJW cuck.
Oh yeah, that's me to a T.
Oh man. No, I don't know. Yeah, I can't get into those movies. Even if it's like a Scorsese film. There's not every Scorsese film has been a hit with me.
Shutter Island, Scorsese or Coppola?
That's Scorsese.
I skipped a chunk of it in the middle.
I was about to say Shutter Island hasn't been a hit with a lot of people.
I mean, I don't know.
I wanted to get into it.
I don't want to spoil movies just for the fun of it, but I had it pitched to me that Leo's character had been going through the events of the film on a loop. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's just that they made a breakthrough once and then they staged an elaborate role play so that he could maybe see how wrong he was about everything. I had it pitched to me as if he just did this every month. That he just thought he was a detective once a month and they let him come back on a boat.
It's the 5th again? Yeah, Terry, bring out Leo. It's I like to think it's because his dad owns the prison. and Leo's just like a convicted killer, but he's like still like the owner of the prison's son, so he just so like once a month he just lets his kid do whatever he wants. Like, shit, I forgot to get my vacation time around here. But I'm trying to think of another Scorsese film that I don't know. Actually, there's some Scorsese films that I do like. There's ones that I don't like all too much, but I can't really think of them off the top of my head. Like, I love Casino. That's a really good movie. People say that's the most accurate Scorsese film. Like that's the most accurate film that he's done that's based off of something or someone.
What was it? A book or just someone's life story?
This is based off someone's life story, but because the mob basically just ran Vegas for the longest time. Some people say they still kind of do, but it's not as like inherent, like it's not as like it's not as big as it was.
You're making me think of Twin Peaks season 3 with Jim Belushi as a Vegas mobster beating. He beats Brett Gelman.
Oh no, not Jim Belushi.
Yes. He's like, because I don't want to. Kyle MacLachlan's like third character. He plays three characters in this series. He is like a Vegas idiot savant, so he's making all this money.
Oh.
And Jim Belushi interrogates Brett Gelman's like the, what do you call it? The house. He's just running the show down on the floor.
Yeah.
And when he can't control all of the winnings that Kyle MacLachlan gets away with, they I think they kneecap him and like beat him down. I don't know. It's just funny because it's Jim Belushi.
I still have not watched Twin Peaks.
I think it's worth a watch. Season 2, it does drag, but it's just fun to watch, as like a soap opera in Season 2. Season 1 is tight. Season 2 drags out, and I want to say there's, plots that I don't think anyone really comes back to, like the Dale Cooper's old partner who comes back for some chess-themed murders. I don't think anyone ever talks about that before or after the episodes that they happen in.
Yeah.
Season 3 is interesting just because it's modern and nearly everybody comes back, and it also drags, and you expect something to happen. You expect Kyle MacLachlan's character to change or get his memory back early on. That doesn't happen. Oh, you're going to wait for that.
Okay, I could get into it. I know there was also the movie A Walk in Fire, right? Or there's a few movies, right?
There's, I think, just Firewalk with Me. They call Season 3 The Return, but that's just Season 3.
Oh. Now, Season 3 is the more recent one, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to think. There's like an actor in Season 3 that I don't know if I like him. Let me see. It's just when I found out that he was in the show, I was like, really? You're in the
Could it be the guy from Jackie Brown you're thinking of?
Maybe. I don't know.
Michael Cera is in one scene.
Who was I thinking about?
If it's Season 3 and no other season, that should narrow it
Matthew
down.
Lillard.
Who is that?
From
Oh,
yeah, Shaggy.
He gets a pretty good part. I forgot all about him.
I was gonna say Scream.
Ah.
He's
He does drama. He does he was in The Bridge.
Well, he is in Scream. He's in one of my favorite movies from my youth. Oof. SLC Punk.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll try to watch all the movies you reference.
No. Man, that movie. But in Scream, he plays Stu. And I don't want to spoil too many things, but Stu is kind of an important character.
Okay.
We gotta watch Scream sometime.
That should be easy.
Pretty sure it is on Netflix.
Yeah.
You would like it. Although, I gotta say, the first scene it's kind of an intense scene for a horror film, like a opening scene with Miss Barrymore, who they promoted the fuck out of, like pretending that she was the main character.
Hey, that's pretty good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they promoted. She was on like all the trailers. She was on like all the posters. I used to have the VHS of Scream as a kid. She's on the cover of the VHS.
I imagine it's like half her face, like the old Star Wars VHS. It's like Barrymore.
Let me see. Scream. I'll just do Scream images. Well, a whole lot of Ghostface. She's the first person to pop up. I had a friend who had a Scream poster, and under it, it said starring Drew Barrymore, Neve Campbell, which is funny because Neve Campbell's the main character of the movie. But Drew Barrymore is a famous actor at that point.
I'd love to see Scream, but it is basically a poster for Legally Blonde. It just says Scream.
Now, are you confusing Drew Barrymore with Reese Witherspoon?
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact. And on that note...
I know all white girls look the same to you, Tim.
It's always been a problem.
And most people.
I am face blind.
But I assure you, they're two different people.
Drew Barrymore is E.T. as a baby.
She played E.T.
Yeah.
They hung her up with chicken wire. And,
they did split screen whenever she had to talk to herself.
Yeah. It's like a Nutty Professor thing. Drew Barrymore played all the characters in E.T. That's actually what got her career started. And, but her being in that suit, that was also her opioid addiction. Very young age.
We should all be so lucky to be child actors.
Yeah. Now, dude, what's really funny about Drew Barrymore is when I watched Scream, she was also in the movie Donnie Darko. That came out around the same time.
Finally, one I have seen.
Yeah, which I think is really funny, because in Scream she plays a high schooler, and in Donnie Darko she plays a high school teacher.
Huh.
I just couldn't take that seriously. I was like, aren't you like 19 years old, Drew Barrymore? But yeah, that's I don't know. I just can't take Donnie Darko that seriously.
On that note, though, I think we should say that all around us are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere.
Beautiful.